We are back with the Rotary ATV. So in the last episode, we had the engine running and idling, and you know, that is just great. It exceeded my expectations. It seemed to run really awesome. So now what we're gonna have to do is mount that engine on this frame. So first things first is we'll mock up this engine. Alright. Touching the back. Okay. So immediately we can see that the carburetor will be an issue.
Well, there's actually more issues than that.
Oh no.
As of right now, as it sits, just with the engine in there,
cool.
It looks really unique.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big block of metal, but it does look cool. So we're definitely gonna have a lot of problems with this and a lot of packaging issues. So first, our exhaust down here is right at this frame. So, you know, we're probably gonna have to do some frame cutting and re-gusseting and everything. It'd also be good to move it forward so we have more space in the back. So these will definitely need to go, and we'll have to reinforce it. All right, that came out pretty easy.
Pass me the rock.
Oh, that's so much more space.
And there's a lot more space.
It's very happy now. All right, so we're taking this thing out so we can get a little bit better idea of where the foot's going. So. Oh my, there's some ingenuity here.
Ingenuity.
Some spacing going on. They used a bolt or a nut. I don't know. Interesting. But now we're running into problems of where the pulley goes wants to be right where your foot goes. So we're gonna see, first of all, we need to bolt up that side just so we know what's going on. And then we're gonna move this around, see if we could move it back or out or something and get some better spacing. All right, that is a very straight cut. So this is our Swag off-road porta band table. You can basically, it's pretty great. You can use it with any portable bandsaw. And we never had a vertical bandsaw before, but this thing's really nice for making, you know, straight cuts, very thin straight cuts, and not, you know, walking all over the place with an angle grinder. So now that the engine plate's in, it's a little bit easier to slide the engine around and see how everything interacts. We're having some problems because the belt is pretty long, and we're kind of running into the frame back here, especially once the belt's like fully tensioned and, you know, how it should be. So we have kind of two options we're thinking of. We could either cut and lengthen the frame, which we really don't want to do because we have to buy, you know, some 2-inch pipe and just all the angles and stuff. It wouldn't be fun. Or what we're thinking is we could lift the engine up, which would, you know, just tighten the belt in that direction, upwards instead of forwards. What we really need to do is actually just mount this back driver as close to the back as we can and just have it permanently set up, and that's where it's gonna be. And then from there, we gotta figure out where the engine should be to make this thing work. So we've used a whole lot of string and just tied this thing up in a bunch of different places. So we kind of have our jack shaft floating in the back here. It was just really hard to get it lined up just holding it. So now we can position our bearing hangers where we want and start cutting pipes to fit. So we have these 1/4-inch thick bearing hangers and this 5/16-inch bracket. So we're gonna turn up that voltage on the welder and just get welding on these. Alright guys, so the jack shaft, the whole setup is done. So this looks really cool. Everything's lined up very well. I took a lot of time making sure everything lined up. So basically, when you have this flush with here, then this butts all the way up against there. The sprocket right there butts up. The chain is perfectly aligned. And then you have that nut over there, which when it's all the way tightened down, is in the perfect position. So basically, no adjustment should be needed for this. But honestly, it is super solid.
So our engine mounts are in, and now we're mounting the pulley.
Just got the keyway. We had to shave it down because this pulley has some weird like half keyway. It's not full depth, so.
Yeah.
And then we had to sand down all this rust in here because, you know, it's rusty, but it's going together well. I'm feeling pretty confident about this thing.
Yeah, everything's pretty much in its final place. So we should be able to test drive it pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, no exhaust test drive, but you know, no drive. Bolt it when it's good. So that's all the way forward, I think. So they said like 1 inch to 1.25 inches of sag or something.
So before we do the brakes and hook up the chain, we're just gonna run the engine to just make sure everything's working right, see the belt and everything, and just because we want to hear it again. So here goes the gas, our premix. Drink up, little buddy.
We don't need that much, Joe.
Hey, man. Whew. Gas. It's good. Alright, let's see if this thing fires up. Plenty of gas. Alright, okay, go. Start fluid.
Give it. Okay.
Starts.
Well, it starts still. I mean, we need a little bit of help from starter fluid, but I'm not surprised with this engine. Oop.
Well, it's moved.
Looks like we have to tune the carb a bit, but this one moved. Did this one move?
I don't know. All right.
Yeah, carb needs tuning, but whew. Was it shooting flames?
It's shooting hella flames.
So right now, here's our temporary chain setup. We got to get back to college tonight, actually, so we don't have too much time. So what we're gonna do is just have this chain a little bit loose. It will be riding on the guide, so it shouldn't be a problem. And we're also not gonna be running a header because we don't have time to bend up the exhaust. In the future, we'll have, you know, obviously a header, and then we'll have a chain tensioner down here that'll hold the chain tension. And that's just because the jack shaft is further away from the axle, so the chain will like lengthen and shorten a lot more with respect to the sprocket back here than on the stock version. But it shouldn't be any problems. So we'll just get this wrapped up and we'll get to test driving this thing.
Yeah, we're just excited to driving around.
Yeah, I just want to drive this before we go back because
Yep.
I gotta feel this thing.
Definitely a lot more work to do, but this will be a good time to test it.
Yeah.
Bit of slack, but
Chain guides definitely help. Without them, it'd probably be a little sketchy. Ready? Go. Well, you know, we don't have rear brakes. We have one front brake. One of these two brakes up front works. So it's going to be a little bit of a slower, sketchier test drive. But, I mean, the drive did work, so time to ride it. Let's see if it... Okay, well, as of now, that is the only test drive we're gonna get. So, the belt, it seems like this clutch pulley on this side is kind of seized. So we'll have to unseize it, maybe lubricate it a little bit, since obviously we haven't even taken this thing apart yet. And then, because of that, see how, dude, look at that. Like, there's no power being transferred by that. So, yeah, that's it for this video. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you, Go Power Sports. Basically, all of the driveline on this thing was from Go Power Sports, using their bearing hangers. All that stuff's great. Make sure to stay tuned for next time, because we're gonna be getting the exhaust on this thing. We're gonna get these pulleys working well, and we're gonna have the chain tensioned, and we'll actually drive this thing. So, thanks for watching. See you next time. Oh, it's moving.
Someone get me a spot in the circus.
Ta-da!